Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing safe and fine. Today I'm creating this warm berry summer makeup look. Super fresh, dewy and perfect for sunny days. So let's get started. Make sure to prep your skin first, and for my base today I'm using the Lakme Luminous Skin Tint and I'm going to dot it all over my face like this. A warm berry look is all about that radiant flushed glow. The skin tint gives a soft luminous base that complements berry tones beautifully without looking cakey or flat. It lets your natural skin peek through, which enhances the fresh sun-kissed effect typical of summer looks. Warm berry tones can look harsh if the base is too matte or full coverage, so this tint keeps it soft and youthful. I would say it's perfect for college, daily wear or no makeup days, especially when you want to look put together but still feel breathable and comfortable. Also, this product doesn't feel sticky or greasy and it sits well under blush, tint or even powder. If you have dry to normal skin, you are really going to enjoy how hydrating and natural it feels. I do recommend using a primer underneath if you have oily skin or want it to last longer. The texture is super smooth and easy to blend. I usually just use my fingers or a damp sponge. It evens out the skin tone beautifully without completely masking your skin. For concealer, I'm using the Lakme 9 to 5 Primer Plus Matte Liquid Concealer in the shade 20 Nude. Only gonna apply it under my eyes and in the inner corners where I have some darkness, not all over my face. And instead of blending it out immediately, I'm letting it sit for a few seconds so that it can give me better coverage. And meanwhile, I'm gonna contour my nose. For nose contour, I'm using Insight palette and I'm picking up the contour shade and starting from the inner ends of my eyebrows, drawing a straight line down the sides of my nose and also applying a bit on the tip to give it a lifted look. I've added small amount of contour to the outer corners of my eyelids. It may seem like a tiny step, but it actually makes a huge difference in giving the eyes more depth and structure. Now I'm gonna blend my contour like this. To blend the contour, I'm using a small precise brush like an eyeshadow blending brush or angled brush. The palette I'm using is popular choice for beginners and budget-friendly makeup routines, and it works beautifully for nose contouring in this warm glowy look. Make sure the lines look soft and diffuse, not sharp or muddy. Now that the concealer has set for a few seconds, I'm going to blend it out using a damp beauty blender. This helps melt the product into the skin for a more natural and seamless finish. I'm gently tapping, not dragging, especially under the eyes to keep the coverage intact and avoid greasing. It really makes everything look smooth and well blended. This concealer gives you natural matte finish that's perfect for daily wear or soft glam looks, and because it's not overly thick or cakey, you can build it up in layers if you want more coverage without it looking heavy. Now I'm moving on to bronzer, and for that I'm using the LA Colors powder bronzer. This is a powder formula that's super easy to work with, especially when you want to warm up the face without making it look muddy or too harsh. I'm using a fluffy brush to apply it, which really helps diffuse the color nicely and gives a soft sun-kissed finish. I'm applying it to the usual areas where the sun would naturally hit, across my forehead, just under my cheekbones and along my jawline. This adds warmth and dimensions to the face and balances out the contour really well, especially when you are going for a soft summer or berry inspired look. And you know what, while blending this, I just realized I hadn't blended the contour I applied earlier to the outer corners of my eyelids. So I'm taking a small blending brush and softly diffusing it. Now this little detail makes a really good difference. It adds that natural depth to the eyes without needing heavy eyeshadow, just a subtle lift that pulls the whole look together. And to keep everything looking soft and tight together, I'm also using the same color LA Colors powder bronzer on my eyes as eyeshadow. I love doing this because it gives such a natural, effortless warmth to the eyes without needing a separate product. And I'm using this again blending brush and dipping lightly into the bronzer and blending it into my crease and slightly above it. And this creates that beautiful soft contour and adds depth to the eyes. Now I'm using the Insight On The Go blush in the shade Plum Squash, and honestly it's such a pretty shade, especially for that warm berry summer vibe I'm going for today. I like to dab it on the apples of my cheeks and blend it upward toward my temples for that lifted flushed look. I'm applying it with my fingers because this formula blends out so easily with just the warmth of your hands. The pigment is buildable, so you can keep it sheer or make it more bold depending on your mood. The texture of this blush is really smooth and lightweight. It's not sticky or greasy at at all, which makes it perfect for summer, and it really stays in place and doesn't feel heavy at all. On fair to medium Indian skin tones, it gives a soft berry flush that can be layered for more drama. On dusky to deep skin, the color still pops beautifully without turning ashy, something many blushes struggle with. To lock everything in place and control shine, I'm now using the Blue Heaven Loose Powder. I really like this one because it's lightweight and doesn't feel cakey. I'm using only in the areas where I don't want any shine, mainly around my T-zone, under the eyes, sides of the nose, and a little bit on the chin. I'm keeping the cheeks dewy and glowy because I still want that healthy berry flushed look to show through. The texture of this powder is finely mild, so it blends effortlessly into the skin and doesn't sit on top of your makeup. I'm using same inside blush on my lips to keep the look soft, monochromatic, and totally summer friendly. I love multitasking products like this. They are super convenient and keep the whole vibe cohesive. And because it's creamy and lightweight, it is actually blending beautifully onto my lips. I'm just dabbing it on with my finger to give a soft berry tint. You can make it bold also by building it up. This will enhance your lips and tie it with the blush on the cheeks. Now I'm using an old kajal pencil. I honestly don't remember the brand because the prints all wiped off, but it still works great, so I'm applying it to my upper lash line, also in my lower lash line too. Once I've applied it, I'm taking a small blending brush and smudging it slightly just to soften the edges and make it look more natural and lived in, not harsh or sharp. And this gives a really soft, subtle definition without looking too heavy. And your eyes look naturally defined, slightly smoky, look that really flattering and easy to wear. If you like a bit more drama, you can go a little darker. Now before going in with my eyeliner, I'm applying the Miss Clear Bronze Blush on my eyelids. I love using this because it has a fine, soft shimmer that catches the light beautifully without being chunky or glittery. I'm just taking a little on my finger and gently tapping it over my lids, especially on the center. It adds this warm golden sheen that complements the whole warm berry look perfectly. The shimmer is very subtle and elegant, perfect for daytime or even a soft glam vibe. Now I'm going to use this highlighter palette from Swiss Beauty, and I'm using small brush applying highlighter to the inner corners of my eyes. This step might seem small, but it makes a huge difference. It instantly brightens the eyes and gives that fresh awake look. When you use tiny precise brush, it really focuses the glow just where you need it without overdoing it and catches the light beautifully. I'm applying highlighter to bring some glow to my face. I'm starting with the tip of my nose, then lightly along the bridge of my nose and also on the high points of my cheeks, basically wherever the light naturally hits the face. I'm blending it with my fingers to really melt the product into the skin for a more natural, seamless glow. After this, I'm going to use eyeliner and I'm gonna add a thin clean wing using my Lakme eyeliner, just a small flick to elongate the eyes without making it too bold. And then I'm finishing off with the Blue Heaven mascara on my top lashes for some lift and volume. This step really opens up the eyes and ties everything together beautifully. If you want, you can apply mascara in your lower lash line as well. On my lips, I'm using Etude House Dear Darling Water Gel Tint in the shade Cherry. I'm applying it just on the center of my lips and then gently blending it out with my finger. And this technique gives a natural gradient lip effect that looks super fresh and youthful, perfect for a soft everyday summer look. And that's the final warm berry summer look. It's dewy, soft and wearable for every day. Let me know what you think in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more glowy looks like this, and bye.